Thanks for joining me for another Time Trial Tuesday. This week, we'll be playing Forza Motorsport and going to the Yas Marina Circuit in Abu Dhabi, which has had many different types of racing there, including Formula One, so it's a pretty fast track. But we'll be doing this in the BMW M1 Procar, and it has a mid-engine inline six engine that makes about 470 horsepower. It's rear-wheel drive, has a 6-speed manual gearbox, so we'll be using the shifter to make it as close as possible. And yeah, it even had a groupie rally car version of it at one point, but we're just going to be doing the street or track version of the car. But I'm super excited, should be pretty good. I've heard good things about the car, and from what I've heard, it handles really well. So I'm excited to take it around this circuit, especially a circuit that, like I said, F1 cars have driven on before, so you know there's a lot of nice high-speed corners and a lot of technical sections in it. But yeah, it should be a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's get into this. Wow, I'm pretty happy with that. I felt like I was really flying on that lap, and I also had a lot of fun doing this time trial, especially doing it in the manual mode. It was really engaging, and like, even though with the paddle shifters I probably could have saved a little bit more time, like the satisfaction after doing that lap and knowing I did it in the manual mode, and just the enjoyment of having to clutch in and change gears and stuff like that was just so much more fun. And the car drove really well. I was really surprised. Well, I guess not surprised, but I know some cars in Forza that I've driven have been slightly off or had a little bit of janky feeling on the wheel. So I was really happy that the BMW actually felt really nice to drive. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how its rally counterpart handles in games like WRC. I know it's a little bit different because it's a rally and this is like a track, but yeah, I was really happy with how it performed, and the track was a lot of fun. I'd done some F1 races on there before, so I kind of knew the layout. But doing it in a street car was a lot different. Telling what kind of curbs you could go over and what you couldn't, how much of a curb you could take if you had to get off it a little bit early. Also different driving lines, trying different driving lines to see what could work better. I did a lot with that and trying to push myself to go off different lines to see if I could find a quicker way or what felt the most comfortable for me going through sections. But yeah, thank you for joining me. I encourage you to Try this car out in Forza as well if you have the game, because it is a lot of fun to drive, and I'd like to see, yeah, I'd like to see other people enjoy it as well. If you have a game, car, or track you want us to cover, please leave it in the comment section. And we'll be going over the fast lap here and just kind of my thought process, yeah, through the whole lap. So here we go. Here we are starting into our flying lap here. We're going to go across the line to start the flying lap. Here I had to go down to about third gear. Take this corner pretty conservatively, take a little bit of the curb, and running onto that exit curb. This one we wanted to cut most of the curb, go as close to the wall as possible without hitting the wall or getting track limits. And then on this curb you can kind of take a little bit, string it out, bring it out to fourth gear here, drive as fast as we could down to this little sharp turn section, go wide, cut it nice and sharp and tight, and full on the power here on this long straight. Start shifting up the gears, and it would bring us all the way to fifth on this main straight here. Preparing mentally for the braking zone here, braking, shifting all the way down to second, and then trying to cut this chicane as close to the curbs as possible without going over them because they're a little bit rough. And then back on the power again, shifting up, but here we're just going to go till fourth, and it's going to kind of string out close to red line by this next corner here. And then as we get to the corner, just a bit of brakes, put it into third gear and try and take this tight. We kind of rang it out a little bit wide. And then back towards the curb, we're just going to cut that section a little bit. Back on the power, we're going to end up going up to fourth gear. And we're going to cut this curb to the right, but you have to watch, because if you cut it too sharp, you'd go over this other curb and over track limits. But then yeah, just in second here, going across, keeping a nice consistent speed, not going too fast, and then on here, stringing it back out up to third, and cutting this corner a little bit, trying to keep it nice and tight so we don't run too far onto that curb. Slow down, going to second, cut this curb on to go into the main straight, as much power as we can, and then just keep going until we cross the line.